Thank you for having me here, Dave, and thank you all for coming and hanging out with us. Thanks.
So is it right, if we say a name, last name, should we say De Leon? You gotta say it with emphasis, right?
I think you say it very well. It's important that you say Diaz De Leon. Otherwise my dad gets upset, because a lot of people just say Diaz. It's Diaz De Leon, it's one last name.
This is Abu Dhabi or Dubai?
This is Dubai. This is the first time that we all sailed together as a team in the F50. So it was very challenging.
Can't see what's going on, but I watched it once. We'll get into it. There's a lot of finger movement and a lot of trimming. So that sheet doesn't stop moving, does it?
I have a lot of controls that I play with buttons, with my fingers, and I also have the wing sheet. As a sailor, you're used to playing the sheet, but you actually have to do a lot more with your fingers and with your buttons. And I started off using too much sheet, and they're all telling me, dude, you gotta do the twist with your hand and not the sheet, and you're getting the grinders tired, and so that's something that I've been working on. And slowly, I'm getting closer to using more of my fingers and less the sheet. But I have 14 buttons that I have to manage. I'm the little guy.
Yeah, we probably should explain where you are.
I'm the guy in front of the driver that's holding the wheel, and I'm holding a line that's coming out of the winch, which is powered by the grinders in front of me. There's two grinders. Counting from the front to the back, there are two grinders, and then there's a flight controller. There's myself, then there's the driver, and when it's windy enough, we have a strategist, which is really nice because we get some help on where to go and such, and that person goes behind Taylor, and it's our female athlete who does a really great job taking us around the race course.
Let's get to the scene. But before we get there, how the hell did you end up in this boat in the first place? With this team, be like, I'm trimming wing, no problem. I've never been on a foil and 50-footer. I can try to figure this out.
He goes back to my connection and friendship with Mike Buckley and Taylor Canfield. We have raced against each other a lot, and we also raced together, and we were very successful in the match racing circuit. We won a lot of regattas. We were actually undefeated together, and whenever they go sailing without me, they don't win anymore. No, I'm kidding. But I tease them. Taylor's an amazing match racer, and he's had so much success, and I was able to join their campaign, and we won the world championship together, and it seemed like we made a good team. And when they got this campaign going, they called me, and in the match racing, I was a speed guy. I trimmed the main, and here I'm doing very much the same thing, trying to keep the boat going fast. And I also did a lot of moth sailing, which is foiling, and that relates to the SailGP with a foiling aspect. So it was a natural thing to call me up.
So they called you up there. Did you be like draw straws and who gets to trim the wing and who's grinding?
That would be awesome.
Initially, they wanted me to be the flight controller, and that's very hard. I flew to LA. I was in Portugal riding my bike. They called me up, hey, you gotta fly to LA tomorrow. And so I stopped my bike trip. I go to LA, and they wanted me to be the flight controller. And I tried being the flight controller, and I was terrible. I mean, so bad at it. And mainly because you have to have great vision, and I'm pretty blind. And that's no secret. Everyone that sailed with me knows that I can't see very well. But I tried it, and I really didn't like it. And I told them, look, I'm not going to be the flight controller, and I want to trim the wing. I think I can do a great job at trimming the wing, and they accepted it. So that's how it happened.
All right, so into Dubai, you guys, the practice day was that you had a little more breeze. We'll get to that in a minute. But so the first time you sat in the cockpit, where do you start?
Well, my practice day, or my practice time in Dubai was, I was so eager to practice, and they flew a guy to teach me from Australia. The reserve wing trimmer from the Australian team came to teach me, and they said, well, Victor, you're going to watch him trim the wing, and then you're going to just say, well, I'm ready to trim the wing. Why don't you just tell me why don't you just tell him to coach me? I'll be fine. But they insisted that I watch him. So I watched him do hot laps, And boy, that looked like a lot of fun. And then when I got on the boat, the wing broke and I couldn't sail. So I was like, oh my God, this is brutal. And the boat was out of commission for the next 2 days, so we really didn't get a lot of practice before Dubai. Maybe one day, and then I was straight into the fire. And these boats are so complex with all the electronics that they're often having issues, and the extra practice days gets the SailGP team to get all those bugs fixed. So a lot of times we are missing some practice because of boat setups and stuff like that.
And the other team's gonna be like, oh no, take our boat, go for it, we're good.
No.
Just don't break it.
No, that's not happening.
Run through, we can watch the video again later that we'll put up online, but let's say you're on starboard tack, your right hand is all over playing buttons like a piano. You've got to learn to feel where the buttons are, right? And so what do the buttons do, and how do you figure out how to use them?
Yeah, that's actually the hardest part, knowing where the buttons are, because I have to look at the horizon to control the heel of the boat. And right now I don't know where they are, so I have to peek. I have to split my vision between the horizon and between the button, and also knowing how long and how hard to press the button to achieve what you want to achieve. And slowly, I'm getting more accurate. And yeah.
How was that first regatta? We did an interview, and I mean, once you start to get into chaos, the tactical racing, when there were some times we talked about where you just didn't have enough time and know what to do with the wing.
I would say that the most challenging part is knowing how to, or knowing where the buttons are, but also the winch is very eager to get an override. I got so many overrides, oh my God. And it's a big deal because one, they're hard to get off, and two, you can't tack. You can't even control the heel, so, and everyone finds out. Everyone finds out about your override. So we were rounding the leeward mark in front of the whole crowd, and guess what happened? I got an override in front of everyone.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, they just be like, oh, they flubbed the landing.
But in Abu Dhabi, I got no override, so hey.
So steps and steps. How do you get the override? You got to do the same thing, kind of wind it backwards?
Well, I thought it was an override, but it's actually an underride. I'm very new to using winches, and my friend Truby was here in the crowd and told me, oh, I think you're getting underrides. And yeah, there he is, Truby. Thank you, Truby. So I've called friends that are trimmers and have sailed bigger boats to walk me through this, because I really believe in mentorship and friendship in these sports really help you excel. So, but I'm not the only one sailing fast multi-hulls, Dave. You're going somewhere nice after here. And what are you sailing next?
I'm going to go sail the 100-footers around the world. You know, those whole team drawbacks. I've got sponsorship, so it's quiet right now. We're going to keep it on the BL.
And nice, man. Sounds good. And what are you going to do about your nutrition in this trip? What are you going to eat?
I'm going to eat cheese. I like cheese. Cheese and sausage, like you get over in Spain. You know?
Well, I actually got you a gift. And I brought it here with me because I found out that you like eating white bread.
Ah,
when you were young, and you like eating spam with your white bread.
Yeah. You know what's crazy, actually? This is a true story, though. When we were kids, and back when we were kids, right?
You can't be the 420s.
The 420s. He knew I was going to go to the 420 store. It all goes back to the 420. But yeah, you as a kid, you travel around, you sleep in tents, and this is my crew. This is what his mom always sent it away with. I was like, I'm not eating that. I'm eating away from it, man. I don't care. But thanks for that. That's media boat lunch, Walter.
Awesome.
In the last event, you actually got to the 3-boat finals. But one, you've been lucky because it's been light and you're more into this catamaran style sailing that Taylor is very good at, right? So, are you a little bit scared of the breeze coming on?
Absolutely, I am. These things go so fast, and we have very little time foiling, and the closing speeds are very high. In Dubai, the first training window we almost had an accident and crashed head-to-head against Germany. We started foiling very high and lost control of the boat, and we were on port, so they were assuming we were going to get out of the way, and then it became evident we weren't doing that, and they altered their course and avoided us, and we barely missed the big collision. So I'm very scared, yes, absolutely, but I'm also very excited, and I'm looking forward to it. We've been doing a lot of reviewing of the videos from previous events and events with windy conditions, so we can get a head start, you know, in a way, because there's very limited practice time.
What have been for you guys the biggest steps from one event to the next, and that you make the next leap going into Sydney, which is what, next week or February 24th?
Repeat the question.
So what were the biggest steps that you made from first event to second event, and then now going to third?
I learned where the buttons are, and I learned what they do, and how hard to press them. That was a big step. And how not to get on the rides. And I don't really know what the challenge is going to be in Sydney, because the conditions are going to be very different. Foiling and windier. And I'll be able to tell you after Sydney.
Well, the point is, you got to watch the live stream, cheer them on, and watch it and see how they do, right? That's kind of it. The circus behind the whole SailGP, because you just don't go there and sail now, but you've got this whole scene that you have to be part of. You got the Mike Buckley CEO, you got the walk-in shtick that you got to do. You got VIP media appearances and stuff like that. Share to the audience a little bit of what the life is like being now kind of the hotshot pro SailGP athlete. Because now you're an athlete, man. You're not just a sailor.
Well, we get picked up in our homes by limousines, and then we go on a private jet. And no, I'm kidding. I wish. It's actually really long days in SailGP, because it takes a long time and a lot of work to get the boats put together and launched in the water. So a typical day would be waking up at 6 in the morning, doing a gym activation in the hotel with our team, having breakfast, going to the venue around 7:30, and starting to work on the boat, getting it together so we can launch it. Sometimes we get a later launching window, which is nice, because we get, instead of going at 7, we can go at 8. But sometimes we get a very early launching window, so we have to be there at 7 a.m. And from there, we have a little bit of a break where we review video, talk about the goals for the day, how we're going to be better. And then we get between a 4-hour and a 2-hour sailing window. And most of the times it's a 2-hour sailing window, which is extremely short. And I always wish, oh man, I want to keep sailing. And I always push that when we are in the sailing window, we need to maximize our training to as much as we can, because it's so limited. And that's the biggest challenge, to catch up to the more experienced teams. But we're using every minute that we get out there. And then we come back after sailing and put the boat away, take it out of the water, take the wing off the boat, and that'll wash it, squeegee the boat, and it all takes a long time. Then we debrief again, have dinner at the site, and go home, and you're spent and you're so tired you just go to bed. So it's not so glamorous.
There's no cocktails.
Not so glamorous, yeah.
You guys actually squeeze in the boat? I thought they had.
No, yeah, we have to wash it and dry it ourselves. But we do get to walk on the red carpet. We walk on the red carpet every morning, wearing some cool outfits because our CEO wants us to. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. You don't have to ask me twice. It's a lot of fun, and we want to create more audience for the sailing. We want the world to know about sailing, so I think it's everything that helps. Why not?
Yeah, I guess I'm sort of, I imagine a lot of people in this room have come to the same thing. It was hard to get in love with the US team because, I mean, Jimmy is the greatest of all time, but
for now,
who are we kidding? Right, yeah, for now, exactly. But, you know, so you got this new team. You want people to follow, you got to build a following. What is the team culture and the mission? You know, you guys, I'm sure, have had some talks about this. It's in Mike's head, maybe, but what do you guys want to be the team to be?
Yeah, I think I know Mike's mission and Taylor's mission and our mission is to have a very inclusive team and a diverse team and a team that is formed by Americans. And, I'm Venezuelan, I'm also American. I became American, I'm very proud of it. And we have a very diverse group of investors from different sports, different backgrounds. And we also have pretty much an all-American team. The mission is to be more inclusive and showcase American sailing and provide opportunities to American sailors.
And win some races.
And win some races, yeah.
That comes first. says Russell Foods, right? And there's this great interview where Buckley's like, nah, it doesn't racing doesn't matter, and Russell was like,
Well, we won the fleet race in Abu Dhabi, so there you go, Dave.
Yeah, top of the team points, Rob Downey. Give it up.
Thank you.
So let's take us back to Venezuela. There are 420s there too?
No, there's no 420s there. And I was born and raised in Venezuela, and I actually never sailed a double-handed boat until I came to America. So I was like, oh man, I have to deal with a crew now. What's going on? But yeah, I really love Venezuela. I was very lucky to live by the water, and I started sailing at a very young age. My dad was into it. He got me into it. He got me and my brother into it. My brother's right here, and I'm very happy to have him here. And he's a great sailor, and he's coming back into the sport. So
he's faster than you.
Yeah, he's a better sailor of the family and a better looking one too. Yeah. I got the short end of the stick. And yeah, so I grew up there. I was really in love with sailing. I did the Optimist, I did the international events and all that, and then my family decided that it was time to move because Venezuela was a little bit scary with all the crime and such. So we came to America for a better future, and we moved to DC, and I started school in DuPont Circle. I lived in Bethesda, so I would take the Red Line Metro, Metro to go to DuPont Circle, and I would go by next station, American University.
Yeah, anybody else American University? Anyone?
So Dave, you went to American University.
I did. How'd you know? You've been stalking me?
Yeah. We have a lot of things in common. We studied in the same city. I learned English in DC, and you learned journalism.
I also took Spanish as a minor.
Let's see how you're Spanish.
Well, I'm back on Duolingo, so I'm trying to get it.
We can do the rest of the interview in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Claro que sí.
What part of Venezuela?
What part of Venezuela? We got a question from the crowd.
It's Puerto La Cruz. It's a small city or a big town.
I used to race cars there in 1956.
Oh man, that's awesome. Very good. I hope you had a good time there. I heard those were the golden years of Venezuela. Yeah, the Chileans, that's it. Exactly. All right, we'll go back one sometime.
Maybe SailGP Venezuela edition someday, maybe.
Yeah, we can do that. My brother can be the helmsman. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you did spend a lot of time there. That's cool.
12 years.
12 years.
You probably fell in love with a Venezuelan girl and stayed.
Mostly Caracas.
There you go.
All right. So, so fast track college sailing, and then how do you transition to pro sailing? You just show up and say, I want to get paid today, I'm really good?
That's it, and I talk and talk. I was actually very lucky to meet my friend and mentor, Willem Van Way, who is here.
Willem, where's Willem at? There you go.
Yeah, Willem literally took me under his wing and taught me just the business, the ins and outs, and the work ethic, and the importance of rig tune, and I was very lucky, and yeah, it all started with Willem taking me under his wing, and I started sailing with him and Joel Running, who's also here. Joel Running, the first time I was ever hired to go sailing was with Joel, and he was in the St. Pete Nude. Maybe I'm not allowed to say the name. It's called St. Pete Nude back then. It's Ellie Hansen series now, but yeah, it's really cool to be here sailing with Joel against my buddy and mentor Willem. So it's a full circle.
And the pro sailing life has been good to you.
Yeah, I like it.
You like it?
No, look, something that is really important to me is that be able to come here and do these events. I really believe that this is where I got all my skills that are now allowing me to go do SailGP. And I want to make sure that I continue to do these events because the one-design fleets, the large fleets is where you get better and you get so many boat-on-boat interactions. You learn how to manage lanes in tight places, and I'm always going to make sure I come back. And yeah, I'm really thankful that I get to race against all of you guys and that you guys put such a great series because this is what made it happen for me. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. So as like a pro sailor, but now as a SailGP athlete, you're like you're a legit pro sailor. Like you gotta act like one. You can't be dumb like some. But now you're Red Bull athlete, which is all of a sudden now that Red Bull to me is an insane organization. What they do, the crazy stuff, and everyone thinks it's just people jumping off cliffs and doing death-defying acts, but they're like full legit into the kind of the athlete thing, aren't they? And so to say, you went out to the Red Bull camp, and yeah, so you forgot a couple.
Oh yeah, nice. Cheers, Dave. Let's crack them open, man.
See this? There you go.
Yeah.
Cheers. You actually like this stuff?
I always loved it, and now I get
Love
frustrated. It's a good
I like it better now.
Nice.
See, he did the first thing I learned that recently and you'll notice it down all the videos that all the athletes have to drink their can, but they have to have the can open all the time, right?
Well, I never heard about that. I just like to have mine open because I want to drink it, so.
So what was the camp like? Just share with the audience, where's it? It's kind of like the...
Yeah, our team just went to Santa Monica to their Red Bull High Performance Center, and they're partnering with us, and we're super excited because they have helped so many great athletes, like Lindsey Vonn, for example, achieve their goals, and our time there was amazing. They tested or physical abilities or vision or communication skills, and they're gonna work with us to improve all these things, and or nutrition as well. So we're really excited to work with such a successful organization, and really looking forward to it.
What did they have you doing out there? Like just sit-ups and like chugging this until you puke and like
chug as many Red Bulls as you can.
break you first?
Some of the tests, for example, we had to do push-ups until you fail. We had to do as hard as you can on a bike for 10 minutes. I did pretty well on the test, I gotta say. I had to make sure I won that one because I love cycling, and I'm always cycling. It'd be bad if I get beat at it. And they also checked out our vision and our reaction time, and I was horrible at it. They told me, oh man, you probably shouldn't be sailing that boat. But I already knew that was going to be the result. And yeah, those kind of things.
And did they talk about like at some point having you jump off cliffs and doing crazy things, like because you meet people that do that stuff? Do you think?
Yes, Mike Buckley has the idea that we're going to jump off a plane without a parachute, and of course he volunteered me and Taylor. And I said, well, if we're going to do it, you got to join us as well. And they did talk about that, and I don't know if they're joking or not. To be honest, I can't tell. But yeah,
Mike, you first.
that's it.
That's it. Put the boss first. But being this kind of this Red Bull thing, though, did you feel like now you do have to be a little bit more aware of being known, and kind of now you're in Red Bull? It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, look, I think joining the SailGP USA team represents all of us here because it's American sailing after all, and I think you have to hold yourself to a high standard like we all do here. So I don't think it's so different, but we just got to make sure we represent America well.
Outstanding. Done so far, so well. All right. I want to touch on one final thing too as part of this Sail 52. I was like, what? Yeah, I'm on the Quantum. I was like, wow, holy shit, that's real legit. So I remember that they threw you basically into the bus and said you're gonna strategize, or you're gonna make decisions on a giant boat and a fleet full of pros that sail very close together. I say, what was that experience like, being thrown into the fire?
Yeah, it was quite intimidating at first, but I really loved it. So exciting to join these kind of teams. I started out as a navigator strategist, which is never the case. You're either a navigator or a strategist. But because of our driver being a professional, and we thought he was an amateur because he was Harry Melgus, who was right at the age where he turned pro. Then they say, well, Victor, you're going to do both now. I'm like, oh my God. So it was very difficult because I had to look at the screen of the iPad where you get all the navigation info, but I also had to look at the wind and tell John Kostecki whether we should go straight or jibe set. And it's like, what do you want? Jibe set or straight? I don't know, John. What do you want? I thought that was your job, man. But it was really fun. I learned so much. It was really cool to get to sail with John Kostecki, and I also got to sail with Terry Hutchinson, and those guys are so good, and being able to work with them so close and learn from them, that was such a great experience. And I also did tactics in one of the events because John had an issue with his eye, and that was a great opportunity. And we did so well that event. We got second. I thought, oh man, I was made for this. I'm gonna crush it. Just do it, man. You got it. And I thought I was on the top of the world, and I got this. And then the next event, we got spunked. Like, oh my god, this is a roller coaster. And I realized that working with a team of 15 people, well, I didn't think I could handle it when everything was going well. But boy, when I made a couple mistakes, that was a lot harder than making some mistakes on the J7 with 5 people. So I've started reading a lot of leadership books and how to be a better leader and how to work in a larger organization. And Joel's actually mentoring me because he's at multiple companies, and we talk about this a lot. And this year I'm going to be the tactician for the quantum racing, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to be the youngest tactician in the circuit, and it's going to be fun.
Woo! Yeah, seriously. That must be seriously wicked, though. Like, not just time and distance on the start, and also just once you guys get mixed up, man, it just must be so cool.
Yeah, man, those boats are amazing. The attention to detail, the rigging, the craftsmanship, so nice. It's really impressive.
And on this, to the quantum salespeople, what's the sale inventory like? Is it more like, what's in the container? Go get sale 1, 2, and 3. We're good for the day.
Oh, we have so many sales, man. Oh my God. Even taking the sales in and out every day takes a long time. And we have amazing technology with quantum. I'm so impressed. We can make changes to our luff curves overnight. We come off the doggo, we thought the main was too full. So Marty, can you fix this? And he starts sewing away right in front of the container and makes it happen, and the next day we have a new sale. And we can make changes like that. We have so many sales, and the new sales, we take such good care. And I say we, but really that was the first time I was seeing all these things. They bring the sails out, we put them up for a second, we don't dare tack with a new jib, we just take some pictures, don't tack, are you kidding me? Then we put it down, very carefully flake it, put it back in the coach boat, and the coach boat, why is the coach boat going in? Well, it has to take the jib to the AC, the jib's not going to be out here all day. So that's the attention to detail that these guys have, it's amazing.
And what are kind of the key things that in that experience that you've kind of brought back to your own sailing and what you bring to the teams you sail with, because everywhere you go you pick up a little something and you bring it back. Give me 2, 3 things.
I think owning your spot is super important. We have 15 people on board, and if you start micromanaging or worrying about someone else and you don't do your job, boy, it breaks down pretty quickly. So you just gotta own your area and do the best you can at your area. And then if you're doing everything right and your area is perfect, maybe you can look around and help someone else. But first, do your job.
Simple enough, right? That's the advice. All right, that's one. Do your job. What was just in terms of how you just compose how you manage a boat and just the efficiency and just practice, how you practice better, right? These guys got practicing down to a T.
Yeah, we definitely try to maximize the time in the water. And okay, something else that's important, when you show up as the young guy that is now going to be the leader of a team that's been so successful, the most successful team in the series, well, boy, you better show up with a strong presence, dress up properly, show up on time, make sure your mustache is perfectly trimmed, and give a good impression.
All right. High-speed tips. We're going to pick your brain real quick. For those racing this weekend, as a top-level tactician and a boat speed you've learned from the Whisper or Willem, what are the 3 things in the J7 class that you think that are making people go slow?
Well, I will tell you what we've been working on in the last few days in few regattas that I think is really important. The angle of heel, having consistent angle of heel is really important. Whether you're overpowered or underpowered, it's really important to have consistent angle of heel. Whether you're on upwind or downwind, it's really important to have consistent angle of heel. But I'll talk about upwind, since upwind is longer than downwind, so it's more meaningful. I'll give you my preferred angle of heel, or Joel's preferred angle of heel, which is 14 degrees upwind if you're overpowered, and probably between 11 to 15 degrees you're in a good spot. And then when you're underpowered, then you can choose to fly the boat by moving your weight rather than by easing the sails. I think it's more in the 8 to 10 degree range. And we have a display that tells us the number. And then something else in the J70 that is very prominent is winging. Winging is very popular. You really can gain a lot by winging. And I noticed that often when boats go on the wing, they think that they just gotta go dead downwind. But I like to think about it more as a sailing with a symmetrical kite, where yes, you're going very deep, but when it gets lighter, you still come up a little bit. And you do that by raising the clue of the kite so it doesn't collapse when you're coming up. And then when you have a little more pressure, you come down like you would on an actuals, let's say.
Just like that. Easy.
Like that, yeah.
All right, two most important tactical rules.
Sailing more wind. If there is a side that has more wind.
You can't go the other way though. Like, how do you guys do it? There's no flyers in your world.
Okay, sailing more wind is really important. Also, sailing more wind means having a lane, and when you're in a big fleet, if you're in bad air, you're sailing less wind. So, having a lane preservation, lane management, trying to think how the lanes are going to open up and how they're going to close. I really focus hard approaching the top mark and think, how are these lanes going to appear? How are they going to disappear? And then try to position ourselves in a place where we're going to have a lane. So, lane management, I think, is the key. And then you ask about tactics, but you really got to go fast and start well. Tactics are the choices that we make with the options that we have. If we start poorly and we're going slow, we're not going to have a lot of options. So I really like to focus on boat speed and having a good start, and then managing a lane, and then things go pretty well.
And then it opens up, and then you're just sailing boat speed. Simple as that. And it's like, that's how you guys do it. So on the boat speed tips and tricks, does anybody have any questions? We'll do a quick audience section here. Quick. Boat, go.
You said that you don't see very well, and that you're a main trimmer, but you're not looking at the main on the GP, are you?
That's a good question. I'm looking at the wing, but I'm also looking at the screens with all my settings, and also with true wind angle, apparent wind angle, true wind speed, apparent wind speed, and such. And right now I haven't refined my bad eyes, because I can't see very well, but I haven't refined my eye to look at the wing, and I'm working on it. I'm working on looking at it, and then looking at the settings, and trying to see how that looks, or see what the settings mean. But on the J70, when I trim the main, or any boat that I sail, when I trim the sails, I really look at it. You have to stare at them, and I just spend a lot of time doing that. And while I don't have great vision, I can still see the sails, and I mostly have trouble finding marks. So every time I go on a team, I make sure that I find someone within their team that has great vision, and I explain to that person, look, I'm going to rely on you because I cannot see. And when I ask where the mark is, if you don't know where it is, don't tell me, and don't point somewhere that you don't know where it is, because you're tricking me and you're distracting me. So it's okay to tell me that you don't know, but when you find it, point at it, and then I'll find it. So I usually have someone help me, and that goes back to how important teamwork and communication is within a boat.
Excellent. Anybody else? Go once. All right, front row, go.
I mean, you always hold on to the main. Do you ever cleat the thing, when you're trimming on the...
Cleat? What's a cleat?
If I cleat it, Joel says I'm going to give you a deduction.
Your day rate, dude.
Yes, I cleaned the main. For example, today it was very light in flat water, so it's not so dynamic. And I just look at the main, kind of trim it to where I think it is. I ask my guys how we're going. I look at the speedo that is going at the target I want, and if everything's good, I just leave it there. And so I would say it's dynamic when it's wavy and windy and things are changing, but when it's light and flat, you can get away with leading it for longer.
And then take your little Red Bull sip, go down below, open the cooler.
Let's get fired up, man.
All right, so back to SailGP Red Bull. Next stop, Sydney next week. Everybody gonna go watch it now? Were you watching SailGP before?
Yeah.
No, but now you're gonna watch.
And we definitely get fired up when we hear that you guys are watching and cheering us. It really means a lot to us, and I've been overwhelmed by the support that I've received from all the friends that I get to sail against in regattas like this. They all come, hey man, we're so excited to watch you guys, and that really motivates us, and we feel very committed to you guys, and we want to represent you well. So thank you for cheering us.
All right, yeah. Then after that, New York City, was that June or July? I forget. So anyway, middle of the summer. It's a new venue in New York City on a place called Governor's Island, which I understand you got to ferry out to. And they're going to turn it into like a big giant music festival, sailing festival. So for those in the city, it probably would be a pretty epic event. So Laura Moon at SailGP has given us 2 sets of tickets to the grandstand seatings on Super Sunday, right? Which is a couple races and the match race, and they'll be in the match race, and they'll probably be the one they win, and it'll all be good, it'll all come into alignment. So underneath one of your chairs, Laura has stuck the tickets. So while we set up for a sound check, I want you to look under your chair, and if you got drawn to look at the ticket, you get to go watch Victor go win the match race.
We can do that. Yeah, we're gonna play a song that you guys can sing to.
Se necesita una poca de gracia pa' mi partida, de arriba, de arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré. Bamba, 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 bamba. Se necesita una poca de gracia para mi partida, de arriba, vamos arriba y arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré.
You got another one in you? Or are you a one-hit wonder? All right, so I want you to... That's it. All right.
Dave, you gotta hold 2 mics now.
Okay.
Otherwise you can't hear me.
All right, you ready? Hold on, ready? Start playing away here. All right, so this is going to be our outro song. I want to just...
I'm gonna play like 20 more, guys.
All right.
You're stuck with it.
Give me a little background. Go there. Give me jam. You ready? All right, so as we say good night to you guys here on the first night of the Hill Against the Sail River Guy. I want to thank you very much, those of you who stuck around. And it's always great to be here. It's especially great to be here with Victor Diaz De Leon, our guest for tonight, our official Speaker Series thought of. All right, let's hear it.
In the middle of the night, I'll be walking in my sleep. From Mount Sophie to the river so deep. I must be looking for something, some sacred I lost. But the river is wide, that ain't too hard to cross. In the middle of the night, in the middle of the
Holy shit! I had no idea.
Guys, that's my drill. Just flip it around, flip it around, flip it around. My drill control. Thank you very much.